Doctor, he says many of you doctors are lazy. You want to go play golf?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's the warrior. Let me tell you, he's full of hot air. You know, I wish I could use other language in the show, but to tell you the truth, number one...
Well, I've used parasite.
Oh, I would go more beyond that. But anyway, look, there's no economic incentive for doctors to do a cesarean section versus a vaginal delivery. Same money. And the other thing is this whole notion that doctors are lazy. You know, an obstetrician has to deliver X amount of babies just to pay the malpractice premium, which on average is about $100,000. You get about $1,800 per delivery for 6 to 7 months of care, and you don't get paid 3 months after the baby is born. Now you do the math. Where is the laziness? You know what? The time is going to come in America where a guy, Jeffrey, whatever his name is, I think it's Jeffrey, is going to have to start delivering babies. There's many communities in this country.
I have to stop you there. The idea just is so appalling to me. I hope it never comes to that. Okay, how many personal injury lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? 3. 1 to turn the bulb, 1 to shake him off the ladder, and a 3rd to sue the ladder company. All right, we've heard the lawyer jokes. That was a lame one. But look, people do get hurt falling off ladders. And lawyers like Albert Stark help those people. Stark is a big personal injury attorney and the author of Insider Secrets to Winning Your Personal Injury Battle. Also joining us is Steve Hantler, chairman of the Foundation for Fair Civil Justice, a group critical of trial lawyers. So, Albert, let's start with the lawyer. Lawsuits make ladders like this safer?
John, I've devoted my life to lighting up the bulb, to making sure that people see what it means to be responsible, what it means when they do something that wrongs somebody else.
You've sued the ladder companies.
I have, beginning in the 1970s, as you know, sued ladder companies and created win-win situations.
How is it win-win? I assume this costs me more because you sued them.
It might cost the ladder company a little bit more to change design. A ladder is a very dangerous product. It's used by so many consumers, and people don't realize that if they don't stand up straight on a ladder and they lean out to clean their gutters or to grab a limb on a tree, that a ladder has a tendency to tip over.
And the labels, do they make, I mean, you guys do put labels on everything. Does that make us safer?
The interesting thing is that
well, come on, yes or no?
The answer is not always. Labels.
There are 41 labels on this. I would argue we don't read them now because they're so scared of you.
If you look at that ladder, you're standing there, you try to read the print on the label on the side of the ladder. You can't do it.
No, but this is all because of you.
No.
They're scared of you.
Actually, John, I have helped redesign, through my lawsuits, ladders with the Werner Company. The Werner Company now has instructions, which actually one of my engineers in one of my cases worked with them in developing during the 1970s and the 1980s.
Steve Hantler, what's your answer to this?
My answer is, Albert, I think you're wrong, and I think in the case of many people, you're dead wrong. We have too many lawsuits in this country. Too many lawsuits are being filed against companies, small and large, and they're afraid of all these lawsuits. So what's their response? They're not bringing new products to market. They're not bringing life-saving medical devices to market. Sunstar made a device that would set off an alarm if someone used a whirlpool. So if a child went in to the whirlpool, the parents would be alerted. They didn't bring that to market, fear of lawsuits. There's life-saving medical devices. There's medicines. There are so many products that
Albert,
are not...
what's your answer to that? You deprive us of good stuff.
I do not. Steve's organization is the Goliath that would keep David from the temple of justice. Lawsuits, John, are a thing of last resort.
Let me just do one thing. I want to count to 2. 1001, 1002. Another lawsuit was just filed. We have a new lawsuit filed in America every 2 seconds. We were drowning in lawsuits. I'd rather have engineers, automotive engineers and government engineers.
And by automotive, I should point out, I used to work for Chrysler.
I used to work for Chrysler.
Defend suits against Chrysler.
Absolutely. And these engineers put thousands of hours in designing a car to be safe in as many circumstances as they can. Automakers could make a perfectly safe automobile. It's called an Abrams tank. It would cost about $70 million. It's not very good on fuel economy, and there's no rebates on it. The plaintiffs' lawyers are scaring all of us to death. We can't take any risks.
Toyota ran this ad on the perfectly safe kid. Do we have that picture here that ideally all kids would go out fully padded and wearing a football helmet? I mean, this seems to be the world, in theory, that you lawyers would have.
John, that's not a theory that we lawyers have. The lawyers that I know and the lawyers that I work with sue for safety and sue to accomplish something on behalf of their client that they deserve.
Not for the money?
You know, John, if I can interject, if that were true, let's talk about seatbelts. In over half the states in this country, when a plaintiff is suing an automobile manufacturer, the defendant cannot introduce evidence in court that the plaintiff was not wearing a seatbelt. If plaintiffs' lawyers want the public to be safer, they would allow juries to hear plaintiffs aren't wearing seatbelts. They would allow juries to hear plaintiffs are driving drunk.
Albert?
Steve knows, John, that I am one of the proponents that a jury should hear all of the facts and that light should be shed on both the behavior of the plaintiff and on the behavior of the defendant. I say full disclosure and light will bring out the truth and justice.
Last word.
On this we agree. I hope there's other things we can agree. Maybe there's one other thing that we can agree. Our lawsuit system is broken. By any measure, it's the most expensive in the world. There's too many lawsuits. Products are kept off the market. Companies are not innovating. And it's a silent job killer.
Steve knows that
We're out of time. We'll come back to you. The audience wants to ask you some questions, but thank you, Steve Hantler and Albert Stark.